Okay, folks, we need to get inside and take your seats, please. Come on in.
All right. Good morning, Commissioners. Welcome to everyone, and over to you, Chair Harrington.
Thank you, Clerk Moss, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, March 4th, 2025 Washington County Board of Commissioners meeting. It is a wonderful rainy day. Welcome to spring in the month of March. Clerk Moss, could you do us the honors, please?
Certainly, Chair Harrington. The Washington County Board of Commissioners, also meeting as the Board of Directors for Clean Water Services and all other county service districts, is meeting its regular session March 4th, 2025. Commissioner Willie?
Here.
Commissioner Schneider?
Here.
Vice Chair Treese?
Here.
Chair Harrington, and I'll announce Commissioner Fye is excused for county business at NACO.
Yes, thank you. So with regard to today's meeting agenda, we had one change since the agenda was originally posted, and that is an action item, item G1 was added. So without further ado, we'll go to our next agenda item, public communication. This is an opportunity for members of our community to come and speak to the board for up to 2 minutes, an individual 10 minutes total. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone who wishes to do so?
We do, Chair Harrington. The first two is Dale Feek, followed by Melissa Laird.
Go ahead, Mr. Feek. We're ready for you.
Thank you, Chair Harrington. I'm Dale Feek from Forest Grove. Clerk Moss is handing out something to you. I want you to read along with me, but not number one. One relates to the actions of all these people brought in to support me today, because I'm the former special ed teacher. So I want you to go to number two. My wife's uncle, Lou W. Walt, former assistant commandant of the Marine Corps, served as the first commandant of the 3rd Marine Amphibious Forces in Vietnam. In 1970, he wrote the book titled, here it is, Strange War, Strange Strategy. On page 196, he wrote, "It is easy to say war is bad, peace is good. No one denies that in principle. But there are worse things than war, and one of these is tyranny. I am a professional soldier, but I am also a free man from a free country. I have fought tyranny all my life, the tyranny of militarism, the tyranny of oppression, subjugation, the tyranny of fascism, and the tyranny of communism." It was an American general who said that war is hell, and we all subscribe to that judgment. But our armed opposition to tyranny and oppression has been the means of ending inhumanities greater than the armed conflict itself. Without such armed opposition, Hitler would be still stuffing Jews into ovens. Without it today, some 17 million Vietnamese would now be enduring what the population of Hue endured in one murderous month of communist occupation. And we haven't uncovered all the bodies yet. Men willing to fight against tyranny, willing to stand up the long watches of the Bin Hai River, have spared millions of other Vietnamese from this horror. They held the tyrants back so that a free nation could be built, and hopefully they arrested the tide of conquest threatening to engulf all of Southeast Asia. Now, my words, we need to support President Zelensky and the Ukrainians who are fighting Russia. Please you, take whatever it takes to change the decision of President Trump, Musk, and Vice President Vance are taking the side of Putin and other world dictators.
Thank you, Mr. Feek.
Hi, I'm Melissa Laird from the Public Safety Coordinating Council Chair. Last year, your board expressed a desire to be an active and fully engaged partner in supporting public safety. PSCC once again looks to partner with you to safeguard our public safety and justice ecosystem as we navigate this budget process. Public safety is a core responsibility of county government. Residents and businesses expect and deserve a safe community. Yet, the general fund, which supports 51% of the PS&J budget and is its largest functional area, remains chronically underfunded. This threatens the long-term sustainability of essential safety services. Budget cuts of 10% or more would have real and dangerous consequences. With fewer resources to investigate, prosecute, and supervise crime, certain crimes, such as misdemeanor property offenses, will go unaddressed entirely. This means more theft, more vandalism, and more harm to businesses and residents. A reduction in domestic violence investigations, elimination of specialty courts, and cuts in the juvenile rehabilitation programs will result in more victims and more crime. These programs just don't reduce recidivism, they protect lives. Public safety is deeply interconnected with public health, behavioral health, and victim services. General cut funds in public safety can impact these programs as the entire system suffers when one component is underfunded. Cuts to public safety just don't impact systems, they impact people. When law enforcement is forced to reduce investigations, victims do not receive justice. When fewer cases are prosecuted, criminals remain on the streets. The result, rising crime, reduced livability, and a direct impact on business, community events, neighborhoods, and families. And now I'm going to end with a news update. Last night at the local news, they covered the 50th graduate from the Veterans Treatment Court. Matthew Rose, an Army vet, credited the program for helping him get his life back on track and reconnect with family. Specialty courts provide real solutions, real safety, and real cost savings, and they need your support. I ask you to stand with us in keeping our community safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Laird. Along with that, I would like to share for the benefit of our public that we will be having a meeting of our budget committee on March 18th. So if you would like to be on the journey of our next proposed budget, like all of our meetings, that is a public meeting. Then on the 19th, we're going to have a board-hosted update for our fellow elected officials. Those would be city mayor, city council, special district elected officials, whether they be water, parks, schools. Then we'll have a budget committee orientation on April 14th. On April 28th, our county administrator, who is our budget officer, will be providing all of us with a proposed budget for this next fiscal year. She is required by state statute to deliver to us a balanced budget. So this budget, we know, will involve additional hard decisions. We will likely have service cuts across our service suite because the simple matter that state mandates continue to increase unfunded mandates, as well as the cost of delivering services exceeds our revenue. So we are taking steps to ensure that our community has information and is able to be on the journey with us. You can find further information on the Washington County calendar right on our website. Thank you. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone else?
Yes, Madam Chair, the last in the room is John Woods. Mr. Woods.
Good morning, Chair Harrington and Commissioners. On April 18th, 1775, a bunch of shopkeepers and farmers met the world's most powerful army on Lexington Green. They didn't have a flag. We have a flag tucked back in the corner. When we go to the state capitol, when they start their sessions and everything, they pledge allegiance to that flag. So I'm going to do that today. That's my public testimony. I'm going to stand, I'm going to take my hat off, and I'm going to pledge allegiance to the flag. And we need to start doing that in Washington County. They do it in the state, we can do it here. So you can stand or sit or whatever, but I'm going to pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Please, we do not have audience participation. We are trying to ensure that we have a welcoming forum for everyone, and that may mean that your clapping, your noise making may turn off someone else in our community. So thank you for participating appropriately. Clerk Moss, anyone else?
That concludes in the room. Would any member online via Zoom like to provide public comment for up to 2 minutes on any calendar topic? Give you just a moment to utilize raise hand function. Not seeing any hands, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to our consent agenda. Today's consent agenda consists of 12 items, 1 set of minutes, 1 item from Clean Water Services, 1 item from Assessment and Taxation, 1 from the County Administrative Office, 1 from Facilities, Fleet, and Parks, 1 from Health and Human Services, and 6 from Land Use and Transportation. What are the wishes of the Commission?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, Commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. Next, we'll move on to announcement of vacancies on county boards and commissions. We have approximately just over 30 boards and commissions, volunteers who provide their expertise and their time to advise staff as well as us, the Board of County Commissioners. And as such, we go through a recruitment process. So we have the following vacancies to announce and authorize the recruitment of applications through April 15th of 2025 or until all vacancies on these committees are filled. So we have the Advisory Council on Racial Equity, known as ACRE, Aging and Veteran Services Advisory Committee, Council, the Audit Committee, the Behavioral Health Council, the Civil Service Commission, the Columbia Pacific Economic Development District, also known as COLPAC, the Developmental Disabilities Council, the Combined Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District, Urban Road Maintenance District Budget Committee, the Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District Advisory Committee, and Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District is also referred to as ESPD. The Garbage and Recycling Advisory Committee, the Metzger Park Local Improvement District Advisory Board, the North Bethany County Service District for Roads Budget Committee, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, the Planning Commission, the Property Value Appeals Board, formerly PTA, the Public Safety Coordinating Council, PSCC, the Rural Roads Operation and Maintenance Advisory Committee, also referred to as ROMAC, the Salary Commission, the Urban Road Maintenance District Advisory Committee, also referred to as URMDAC, the Washington County and Service District No. 1 Combined Budget Committee, and the Washington County Transit Committee. Some of these positions have specific geographic areas within the county. Others are looking for particular expertise. So our packet includes a good summary paragraph for each one of these things, and the county website has even more information. Colleagues, I would just ask for a formal motion to support the announcement of these vacancies and authorize the recruitment. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, Commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. Next, we're going to move on to a proclamation, and I hope that's why many of you have joined us here in person to proclaim March 2025 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month here in Washington County. We have several invited guests, so we're going to go through a presentation, and then the proclamation will be read as well. So thank you for joining us today, and Mira Samantel, if you could kick us off, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Well, good morning, Chair Harrington, Board of County Commissioners. My name is Mira Samantha. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Director of Health and Human Services, and I'm delighted to be here today with, yes, many guests in the audience to support today's proclamation. I'm going to turn it over first to Kirsten Oster, who is our Program Manager with Developmental Disabilities. And Kirsten, if you could introduce yourself and the guests before you get started.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Good morning. May I please have the clicker? This is new this year. The PowerPoint's new, so Good morning. I'm Kirsten Oster, Program Manager within the Developmental Disabilities Division. Next to me, I have Katie Mueller, who is a member of our Developmental Disabilities Advisory Council, and Tess Reinert, who is a Services Coordinator. So thank you for having us this morning, and thank you to everyone who is able to come today, all of you back there. All right, so good morning. As I said, my name is Kirsten. I'm the program manager within the Developmental Disabilities Division. Colin Fitzgerald is our division manager. And it is my honor to introduce to you this year's Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month proclamation. Oh, there we go.
I can do the clicker. That way you don't have to worry about both things.
All right. Washington County Developmental Disabilities Division is the third largest community developmental disabilities program in the state of Oregon. However, we are more than the numbers or data points that make us a division. More importantly, we are community, supporting people who aspire to live meaningful and fulfilling lives in their communities. And within that community, there is diversity in all facets. Everyone brings unique traditions, daily routines, and life experiences that shape who they are and how we as a division are always there to support the community every day. Today we were going to hear from April, a remarkable mother and community advocate. Unfortunately, a sudden and serious medical event has prevented her from being here today. April tirelessly champions for her two sons enrolled in DD services, and she extends that advocacy to countless other parents and the entire IDD community. She spent weeks preparing her presentation, and Tess Reiner, one of the dedicated case managers who supports April's family, will be sharing that with you now. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Tess, and I am honored to be able to read this speech today. My name is April Bijak, and this is my son, Evan, and his high school teacher, Leah Baird. I was invited to speak here today regarding as to how the DD Services program and my caseworkers have impacted our family. It has had a tremendously positive impact. I became a stay-at-home mom when Evan turned 1 because he wasn't sleeping through the night. After Evan was diagnosed with autism, I was offered help through DD Services. As Evan approached his transition from high school into adulthood, though, I leaned on my caseworkers for more help. I had many questions about what was to come next as he became an adult. I think the biggest fear that parents like myself have is not knowing what comes next for our kids. DD Services and these caseworkers are critical to setting that foundation. Evan's ISP and attendant care hours helped me to become a better parent because it allowed me to be a part of his growth towards independence. I found that I was providing care for him, but I wasn't helping him learn basic life skills. So I was learning that while it's easier for me to do all the things, it's not helping Evan to be able to take care of himself one day. So now we will shop together for dinner and have him cook it with me. I show him how to do his laundry and make his own bed in the mornings. We work on things like communication and safety. My caseworkers, along with Evan's teacher, helped me navigate what was to come next for Evan when he turned 18. These three were instrumental in helping Evan land on his feet after high school, and because of them, I was able to help other parents. The guidance and resources that my caseworkers provided helped Evan become a successful young adult. I was sent links that I would need to sign Evan up for programs like vocational rehabilitation and Social Security. They would need to sign Evan up for they discussed Evan's living options like community housing or living with a roommate. David gave me the application for a TriMet Lift, which gave Evan the independence he needed to get to and from his job. I cannot express the importance of these caseworkers and how this program helps families like mine in so many ways. I'm truly grateful for all the support and guidance my family has been provided throughout the years. Thank you again for your time today, and I hope that you will continue to support Oregon families and the amazing caseworkers at DD Services because we need them.
Thank you, Tess, and thank you to April and her family. We are all wishing her well during this unpredictable time. We hope that April's passion will inspire all of us to see beyond the new fears and challenges that are brought to us each day and envision a future built by and for our community. This vision cannot be realized by our efforts alone. It needs the collective voices of Washington County. Excuse me, sorry. Imagine a choir singing a single, sustained, beautiful note. Sorry, every year. That note seems endless because each singer takes turns pausing to breathe, with others ensuring the harmony never wavers. This is the kind of sustained collaborative effort we need. We must acknowledge that individuals with intellectual or developmental disabilities and their families deserve lives that are not just included, but truly celebrated by their community. Sorry, everyone. Being a part of a community and belonging is our fundamental rights and the bare minimum of what we owe each other. The dedicated individuals behind me have been the heart and soul of this effort, holding the notes, and keeping the music alive. But even they need time to breathe. They need to know that they are not alone. So today, we call upon the board and the entire Washington County community to join us in this ongoing symphony of advocacy. We cannot be our best selves, and we cannot build a thriving community if we allow division to weaken us or if we lose sight of our shared purpose. Let us take today to find the strength to unite and continue our song together. So thank you, Chair Harrington, the County Commissioners, for your time this morning, and our speakers. We hope you'll join us in the activities we have planned throughout the month, and thank you to the DD Awareness Month Planning Committee and Community Engagement Group for bringing everything together, and thank you to everyone in the division for all their incredible work and dedication to our community. Now, Katie Mueller, a member of our DD Advisory Council, will read the 2025 Developmental Disabilities Month proclamation. Thank you all.
Before I do, I just want to say that the passion is real. It's one of those things that the people that we serve, the people that we interact with, that are all behind us, comes out so clearly. So all of us are sitting here, I'm sure, trying to hold back how we feel because we love all our people and need to be welcomed in the community. So thank you for having us here today. Okay. All right. So, whereas the disability is a natural part of human experience, and whereas developmental disabilities in Washington County touches 1 in every 10 families, and whereas people with developmental disabilities have many skills, talents, and abilities to contribute to their neighborhoods and communities, and whereas everyone wins when people with developmental disabilities receive supports, opportunities that they need to be contributing members to their communities, and whereas the abilities of people with developmental disabilities has traditionally and systematically been undervalued, and whereas public attitudes are the biggest barrier to a full community integration and inclusion of people with developmental disabilities, and whereas public awareness about developmental disability promotes acceptance and understanding and decreases prejudice and misconception. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on this 4th of March, 2025, the Washington County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim March 2025 as Developmental Disability Awareness Month in Washington County. We also call upon citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in Washington County to recognize the ability of individuals with developmental disabilities to make significant contributions to their communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Commissioners, we have a proclamation on the table, and I would invite a motion and a second to adopt said proclamation, and then right afterwards or as part of that process, do feel free to make comments. And then after we move on this, we will join our staff who deliver these valued services each and every day to members of our community to join us in a picture to memorialize this action. So what are the wishes of the commission?
I would passionately move that we proclaim March 2025 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month in Washington County.
And I would passionately second. Thank you.
Any other comments?
You want a third?
What I do know is that the employees of Washington County that are part of this division really care for our community members and help ensure whether the resources are federal tax dollars, state tax dollars, or local county tax dollars, as well as grants, are put into very effective practice here in our community to help improve lives, because every person deserves to live a full life with dignity, respect, and to have the opportunity to thrive. And I know I am just one member of a board that supports this. So we have a motion and a second. So all of us in favor of adopting this proclamation, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. And before we step down on the floor, I want to say thank you to you for bringing this proposal forward and to life, and for taking the time and having the courage to do so. Thank you.
And I'd just like to comment, Mira, your team is phenomenal. Obviously, Kirsten is in the right spot, and you never have to apologize for being passionate about your job. So good job.
Great. Well, staff working in this area, please join us, and any family members.
Family members, too.
Impacted
Family
by
and community
these
members,
services.
too, please.
Thank you.
I read it out loud 3 times last night.
You know what?
And I didn't read it.
It's how it's meant to be. You find your passion. So it's inspiring.
It's like
That's right. Art's there.
Yeah.
Clerk Moss. Hey, folks, heads up. We need everyone to be quiet. Quiet, please. We're trying to organize the picture. So, commissioners are right behind you, but everybody act like a book, okay? And line your shoulders up perpendicularly. Thank you.
I may have to kneel on this.
This will go faster if we stop with the chit chat, okay? Because we still have other work we have to do. Some of you are not going to make it on the sides. Feel free to join us back here on the dais, okay? All right. Come on, we need to get this done.
Yes.
You are welcome to join us. We stand with you each and every day doing this work. Okay? you. Ready? Smile. Stay still. Thank you, Meta. This is bigger than our school picture. One more. Okay, thank you. And we'll give you a moment to either exit the room or get back to your seats before we pick back up on our agenda. Thank you. Okay, so as soon as we're able to close the doors, we will get back to our meeting here. Okay, we're going to pick back up on our agenda for today. We have a few more formal items, and our next one is a public hearing with regard to legalizing a portion of Southwest Laurel Road as County Road 3353. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair Harrington, members of the board. I'm Stacy Shetler, County Engineer with Land Use Department, or the Department of Land Use and Transportation. And we have a short staff report for you this morning about the legalization of a portion of Laurel Road. Laurel Road is south of Hillsborough and runs east-west between Hillsborough Highway and 219 and Bald Peak Road. This is in Commissioner District 4. The road is maintained by Washington County, but there is uncertainty as to the legal location of a portion of the roadway, specifically the portion circled in red on the exhibit there. Based on the maintenance records, survey records, fences, and other features in the area, Laurel Road has been traveled in its current location for over 100 years. The roadway meets the criteria for legalization based on the appropriate Oregon revised statutes. Laurel Road was established in 1879 as a 60-foot roadway, and there is no permanent structures in the proposed right-of-way. The adjacent property owners were notified per the statute, and to our knowledge, there's no opposition to the legalization. However, your board may receive additional input during the public hearing today. Based on the foregoing facts, staff requests your board first conduct the public hearing and second approve the resolution in order. That concludes the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Shetler. Commissioners, do you have any questions with regard to the staff report? Seeing none, I'd like to open a public hearing. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone who wishes to comment?
Thank you, Chair Harrington. I did not see anyone sign up in the room nor in advance of the meeting. Would any member in the auditorium wish to provide public comment on this public hearing? As you've heard from staff, give you just a moment to stand up, raise hand, not see any in the room. Would any member online wish to provide public comment on this public hearing? As you've heard from our staff, give you just a moment to utilize raise hand function. Not seeing any hands, Chair Harrington.
Thank you, Clerk Moss. Seeing none, I'll close today's public hearing and ask for a motion to approve the resolution and order legalizing a portion of Southwest Laurel Road as County Road 3353.
So move.
Is there a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, Commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Shetler. Next, we'll move on to our action items. And this is for a ordinance 905. And I would ask for a motion to read this ordinance by title only.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, Commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. Ms. Duke-Dreesen, could you please read this ordinance by title only?
Yes, Madam Chair. Ordinance number 905, an ordinance amending Chapter 3.48 of the Washington County Code relating to nonprofit corporation low-income housing tax exemptions.
Wonderful, thank you. So we have a very succinct but thorough set of information in our packet on this ordinance. And I would like to ask for a motion to move forward with scheduling ordinance 905 for a second reading and public hearing on March 19th.
So moved.
Could we take the roll, please?
Certainly can. Madam Chair, Commissioner Schneider?
Yes.
Commissioner Willie?
Yes.
Vice Chair Treese?
Aye.
Chair Harrington?
Yes. Thank you. That action passes 4-0, and we'll come back to this on March 18th. Thank you. Next, we have our second public comment period for today. This is an opportunity for members of our community to share their thoughts with the board for up to 5 minutes, an individual 30 minutes maximum. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone who wishes to do so?
We do, Chair Harrington. The first two we have is Jackie Poppin, followed by Karen Schmidlin. Jackie and Karen.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair Harrington and Commissioners. I'm Jackie Poppin. I'm a resident of Washington County. After the last Commissioners meeting, one of us received an email from Commissioner Snyder with several attachments containing responses to some of the questions we had raised during recent testimony. Our team has spent several hours reviewing the documents, and to gain a clear understanding of the responses and processes described, we would like clarification on several of the statements. And there you have a packet with two other with the actual statements, and so this is the first one is from the February 4th document, statement 1, and I think it's bullet 2 or 3. It says, stating that more ballots were received than were requested is not factual. Our question is, how many active voters requested ballots by having an absentee type status on the voter rolls? The second bullet would be the form must be filled out in person at the elections office and the voter receives their ballot at that time. How many voters filled out the form and received their ballot in person on September 23rd, 24. How many voters filled out the form and received their ballot through October 4th? This is from the February 4th and February 18th documents. Statement 2. Some ballots may be hand-processed rather than processed using the mail sorter. Here's the questions. What is the definition of hand-processed? What makes it necessary to hand-process a ballot? What entails hand-processing, meaning what are the mechanics of doing that? How many ballots received on September 23rd were hand-processed? Were ballots hand-processed throughout the entire election, and were they also batch dated? Is there a document that identifies the processing method used for each ballot? If so, what is that document? 2, ballots that are hand-processed over a specified period are included in a single batch. What are the dates included in the specified period for the September 23rd batch? Were all hand-processed ballots in the November 2024 election batch dated to the September 23rd date? And the batch report has a single date. Why are hand-processed ballots reported on a single date instead of on the date they were actually processed? 4, the batch report is dated to the first day that we hand-process ballots. Is September 23rd the first date you receive ballots? 5, the actual date that the ballot was hand-processed can be determined by the individual voter records. Which report is the best source for confirming this information? From the February 18th document, Statement 2, on September 23rd alone, 5,871 ballots were received. Were all 5,871 ballots shown as received on that date hand-processed? Statement 3, the Elections Division began unlocking ballot drop boxes on 10/14/24, and collecting ballots from the drop boxes began after the mail-out date of 10/16. On September 23rd, the BP 032 report indicates 2,800 ballots were picked up from 22 drop boxes throughout the county. Were all the ballots picked up at these sites hand-processed? If they were hand-processed, were they batch dated to September 23rd? On which dates were those 2,800 ballots retrieved from the drop boxes? What is the location of the drop box entitled, quote, Dropbox/site listed on the report? Statement 4, our office did not receive 1,401 ballots on 9/23/24. This is the batch date. On which dates were these ballots received by way of U.S. mail? We look forward to hearing from you concerning these ongoing questions. Thank you very much for your time.
Ms. Midland, go ahead.
Good morning, Chair Harrington and Commissioners. I am Karen Schmidlin from Banks, Oregon, a resident for 45 years. First, I'd like to thank you, Commissioner Snyder, for taking the time to look into some of the items that we have brought before you. We have reviewed the information that you provided to us, and there is one point that I'd like to make. While the report we referenced led to questions that may be answered by other reports that we have not yet requested, the main point in all of our testimony has been missed. The main point being that the laws and statutes in Oregon do not support free and fair elections with clean voter rolls and with 100% transparency. Washington County is responsible for maintaining its own voter rolls, but we have been told that they have no way to verify citizenship. Additionally, their own answer to this refers back to the fact that Oregon is a self-attestation state, meaning that all they are required to do to ensure that the attestation box has been checked. That's all. Just check the box. They don't have to check for anything else. Well, our newly appointed Secretary of State is actually talking about the fact that they have found hundreds of illegal aliens on the voter rolls. They have not checked all the voter rolls. He is also talking about taking steps to safeguard the registration system, which involves random sampling. and hiring someone to oversee the motor voter program, as well as hiring a counterpart at ODOT. So we're going to spend more money on more bureaucracy. And first of all, was there nobody in charge of these things before? So this is a new position? Up until 2022, hand counting was an option. In 2022, there was a directive by the Secretary of State that machine tally was required in elections of over 500 voters. That was Secretary of State Shamia Fagan, who, as we know, resigned in disgrace in May of 2023. Her resignation was followed by an investigation by the Oregon Government Ethics Commission, which was then paused in February of 2024 due to a federal investigation of the same, which is still going on. Washington County Elections stated that they could expand the scope of observation as long as someone would dedicate funding to do so, and it could securely accommodate observers. Somehow, when the office moved from Murray Boulevard to the Alaclec location, this was changed, and now it's not a priority. Ballots are accepted for 7 days after the election day, with or without a postmark. So how hard would it be for something nefarious to happen with this rule in place? We have dirty voter rolls in Oregon. In 2021, our legislator passed a new law ensuring that a voter may not be removed from the voter rolls for not voting or updating the registration. This violates federal law and has resulted in a lawsuit against our state. We have hundreds of thousands of people registered to vote that have not voted in years, and I personally know of many of them. The main point is this: Oregon is a vote by mail state. The majority of the world, the whole freaking world, votes in person on one day with same-day results. If this was such a great idea that we've been doing it for 30 years, why has nobody else caught on to this? The rest of the world is still voting in person on one day because that's the only way that it really works. So Washington County has the ability to correct this. That's the main point. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Clerk Moss, who's next?
Next, we have Mr. Bob Terry, followed by Sandra Nelson.
Mr. Terry, please go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. I want to thank you, Mr. Snyder, for your report. We have taken your advice. We have read it in quite detail. We've studied it, and we appreciate the time that you have put forth and the effort of the staff. And I know most of the people who was CC'd on that report and who helped you put it together, and I have a great deal of respect for them. I will tell you that, you heard previous testimony this morning about our Secretary of State, something that our county counsel, Courtney, could certainly check into. That same Secretary of State and the one following it both has had lawsuits where they lost, where they have tried to change rules on home rule county states. They lost those in court. Those could be found and looked up. I unfortunately didn't have the time to put this together to do the detail it takes to look up. I don't have the access to that unless I go through public service records. But those rules are there. I've read them before. And I encourage you, we don't come up here to complain just to complain. Everything we have provided you, Mr. Snyder, is fact. We can't deny the facts. They're honest facts. We've researched them, and we can back up everything that we have presented to you throughout since last October. And it's unfortunate that it seems as though we appreciate the effort to respond to us. We still offer to you the opportunity. We would love to come sit with you or your designees. At least two of you can meet with us, and it would not be a public hearing. There are many ways we can get together and we can discuss these issues and come up to a resolve to them. There is really only resolve. You know, just to give you an example, for every 500 false, phony, or bad votes that there are, that cancels out 1,000. 1,000. You know, at least one of you, besides myself, served in a service to defend our country. This morning we said the Pledge of Allegiance. I thank you two gentlemen at the commission who did stand up and salute our flag, and many of the employees did. Those of you who did not, shame on you for not honoring our country and the flag. I have visited almost every city council there is in this county. I don't think I've missed any of them, even out as far as in Timber. And where the communities get together, they all pledge allegiance to this flag. I know I sat up there, and I know we discussed it many a time as to why we do not. And we all agreed we should, but we never did anything about it. You can. But if somebody in the community comes forward and asks us to do that, the least you could do is honor them and the salute of our country to that flag. We are all here. Mr. Willie and myself, we fought in the war. We defended our country. That's why I'm here today, and that's why our citizens are here today. And we are all, most of us, elected citizens as you are. We are here defending our right to vote, as our forefathers did, and I've mentioned that many times to this board. We need to do something. This is the largest county in the state. It is the most wealthy county in the state, provides more revenue to the county and the state. Maybe Multnomah by accident comes close, but that's because it filtered in from other areas through Multnomah County that puts those dollars into the state coffers. This is the leading county of the state. We should be leading the charge with our home rule to get out of this mess we're in our voting. We should defend our voting. I don't understand why you don't. You should be as concerned about it as we are, why your vote doesn't count or how it is counted. Or maybe you like the way the voting is going and the cheating that is going on and is putting people in positions that don't belong in their positions because of illegal voting. Mr. Snyder, you had 81%. Yes, we know that. We also know why you had 81%. And thank you for your service and for your effort that you made to give that report to us. It's not done. We're not done. And we hope to include all of you in resolving this serious voting issue we have not only in our county but in the state. But it's big in this county. So I thank you very much for your time and appreciate your work that you do for the community. And that last presentation you had from your employees here, I respect very much, and it's money well spent. Thank you both. Thank all of you very much.
Good morning, Chair Harrington and Commissioners. My name is Sandra Nelson, and I've been a resident of Washington County for 40-plus years. And I'm grateful for a few minutes when the public can comment on anything. This is one of the great privileges of living in a country and a county that values freedom. This morning I was having, in my quiet time, I was reading something that meant a lot to me. And I thought, it's about worrying. And I thought, you know, I don't want to worry about election integrity, but I care about it, and I will work hard for it, but I don't want to worry. There's a difference. So anyway, I wanted to share this. Again, another friend gave me a copy of this book, and I love reading. And so I read this one from March 4 today from this book, Jesus Calling, Enjoying Peace in His Presence, Words of Wisdom and Comfort. And I wanted to share them with you and with those who are still here listening. And these are words as though Jesus were speaking to us. Refuse to worry, this says. In this world, there will always be something enticing you to worry. That is the nature of a fallen, fractured planet. Things are not as they should be. So the temptation to be anxious is constantly with you, trying to worm its way into your mind. The best defense is continual communication with me, richly seasoned with thanksgiving. Awareness of my presence fills your mind with light and peace, leaving no room for fear. This awareness lifts you up above your circumstances, enabling you to see problems from my perspective. Live close to me. Together, we can keep the wolves of worry at bay. Jesus said, "Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to his life? Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest?" From 1 Thessalonians, be joyful always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. And from the book of Psalms, for with you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light. Father in heaven, you are the fountain of life, and in your light we see light. Help us not to worry. Help us to be joyful always. Pray continually. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is your will for us in Christ Jesus. Amen. Thank you, commissioners. I'm glad we live in a free country. Appreciate your kindness.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone else?
We have no one else, so we'll do a quick Zoom check. Is there anyone online via Zoom that wishes to provide comment for up to 5 minutes on any calendar-related topic? Just utilize raise hand function. Not seeing any hands or anyone on Zoom. Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Angie, for the elections FAQ information, I can't seem to find that on the county website, so if someone could get back to me on that, I'd really appreciate it.
Absolutely. That information was to be posted in last week's packet. I'll verify that that was included as commissioners had requested.
So it's just in the packet, it's
Yes.
not on the website?
Yep.
Okay,
And
my mistake.
We can look at the location too and place it in another location so it's easily to.
Yeah, I think it has really useful information about how our Washington County Elections Division and we as a county government adhere to all of the state and federal requirements that are appropriate here in the state of Oregon for running the elections appropriately, has answered all of the reasonable questions, recognizing that the elections process is a complicated process. We have absolutely no need to be interacting with further questions of clarity, given that we provide the reports to the Secretary of State. If anyone has any additional questions, then feel free to engage with the state authorities with regard to those statutes and the required reports. So job well done to our staff. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And that's it for our second public comment period for today's meeting. Next is board announcements, and I'll kick it off. This Thursday, we have a roundtable starting at 9 o'clock. Next Tuesday is work session day only, starting at 9. The following Tuesday, March 18th, is our final board meeting set for the month. As such, we'll have a work session in the afternoon at 1 p.m., a board meeting in the evening at 6:30 p.m., and we're expecting a somewhat short meeting, so we will be having a budget committee meeting at 7:30 p.m. On the next night, Wednesday, March 19th, we will be having a second budget informational session starting at 4:30 p.m., and all those meetings are hybrid meetings. The week of Monday, March 24th, is spring break for our local public schools, and being a great place to work, we are not having board meetings that week. So we encourage our employees with families to enjoy some time together. Then we're into the month of April already. We'll go from blooming daffodils to hopefully cherry trees and dogwood trees and into tulip season. On April Fool's Day, Tuesday, April 1st, we'll start our work session off at 9 a.m. Then we're going to convene our Housing Authority Board of Directors meeting at 9:30 a.m., a half an hour earlier than usual. Our board meeting will immediately follow that meeting. I'm having conflicting information here on the board page, but stay tuned. We have plenty of time to correct anything there. On Tuesday, April 8th, we have just work session day starting at 9 a.m. On Monday, April 14th, we'll be having our Budget Committee orientation that evening at 6 p.m. And on Tuesday, April 15th, we'll have a work session starting off at 9, then reconvening after the board meeting, which starts at 10 a.m. Are there any other board announcements for today? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting? And we will be reconvening 10 minutes from now in an executive session.
Move for adjournment.
All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. Our meeting is hereby adjourned.